So I just wanted to start with that and just tell you all that I'm really thrilled for the opportunity to talk to all of you today. And I wanted to thank all of you, the media, for making college football the best sport in America. Today's my third media day, and I certainly feel different standing up here tonight than I have in the years before. It's a privilege to be the head coach at the University of Arizona, and one in which I would say every single day I feel that I need to earn that privilege. And I tell our coaches the same thing. You gotta earn the right to wear the block A. I tell our players the same way. You gotta earn the right to wear the block A. And if we do that, we'll be able to get to where we want to be, which is part of the national conversations. We've got some great players and great coaches. What I'm most excited about is the continuity that we have in our program. We have 10 of 11 coaches returning from last year. Arizona went 8 years with 8 different defensive coordinators. And we have the chance to bring our defensive coordinator back, and I feel like that's going to make huge strides in our system. Our entire offensive staff is back. We're coming off having one of the best offensive years Arizona football has had. We went from 123rd to 1st in explosive offense. We went to number 11 in the country, from 107th in yards per play, and top 20 offense in the country. But really what makes it personal for us is our players, our coaches, our commitment to recruiting, our commitment to the kids that we have in our building. We've had over the last 2 years, 2 of the best recruiting classes Arizona's ever had. First time in the history of Arizona football, they finished in the top 40 twice in a row. My expectation is that we finish even higher this year. Our goal is to keep kids in Arizona at home. Our goal is to keep kids from Tucson at home, and we're working very hard to achieve that goal. Everyone we bring in, we train on our culture. Everyone we bring in can speak about what it means when we say it's personal, and what we mean when we say to earn the honor and earn the right to win. The players and staff we brought in have changed the culture here over the last 2 years. We've had a 3.0 GPA last semester as a team with 110 guys. We've had back-to-back, the 4 best semesters academically they've ever had in Arizona football. And we've had over 3,000 hours of community service since I've arrived. I'd say we've had some great high school kids joining some elite transfers. And the team at 23 is really different. It's different than it's been since I've been here. Offensively, we have 9 of 11 returning starters. Defensively, we have, what would say, 6 returning starters, as well as an additional, let's call it 7 in the portal. I brought 2 of our leaders here today. I brought our offensive captain and quarterback, threw for 3,800 yards last year. Took our offense to heights that we haven't seen. Jaden Delora came in here from Washington State, transferred here 19 months ago, and has worked very hard over the last 19 months to improve our program. Brought Traden Stooks with us, our defensive captain. Traden is sitting there now in a position where he was a walk-on in 2020 as a freshman, weighing 168 pounds with no offers. He's now our defensive captain, weighs 194 pounds, and is our starting nickel. He's also a 4.0 student and does everything right on and off the field. But it's not just Jaden and Stooks. We have 110 great players back at home, and we've got a great staff, 37 members of our staff back at home as well. And really excited for where they're taking our program. We can't wait to get back with them. We've had 9 guys that are on the watch list this year, most we've ever had since I've been here. Jacob Cowan, Tanner McLaughlin, Mike Wiley, Jordan Morgan, all decided to return for their last year. All have gotten their degrees, and all are now sitting there in a place where they could really thrive on offense. Jonah Savadea, Jonah Coleman, Tethero McMillan, Jacob Manu are some of the best freshmen that I've ever been around last year, and they're now going into their sophomore year. And then I'm very excited that we've got a guy like Justin Flo, who transferred in here to join Bill Norton and Tyler Manoa and some of the other elite transfers that we have. But I would say this, when it's all said and done, we're never going to be recognized for preseason honors. Doesn't matter what people think now. Talking season's over. Football season's going to begin. And I really believe in what we say to our players. Show up early, work hard, stay late, have a plan, deliver on your promises, respect the process, admit your mistakes, tell the truth, and embrace the grind. And if we do that, I believe we'll earn it and win every day. So I appreciate all of you. I'll sit down now and take whatever questions Yogi and Ashley you might have.
Yes, go ahead, Coach. A lot of brilliant things you've done in Arizona. Talk about the numbers, the stats, the players. One player we have to talk about is the quarterback, Jacob Laura. It's been in the news this offseason. You haven't addressed it. Would you like to now?
Sure. I can certainly address what I'm allowed to address when it comes to this. Legally, there's not much that I can say, but I can tell you that the university, our football program, and I were all made aware of a juvenile and civil action that was brought against Jaden September of last season. We were not able to get much information. We did as much due diligence as humanly possible, and what we learned was that Jaden never pled guilty or was never found guilty of any crimes. And really, for us, that's what we could live off of, and that's what we could understand, that we can't make decisions, or it would be unfair to make decisions based upon information we don't have. And there is no information, there won't be any information that is available under white law. Everything's sealed and expunged, so there really is nothing for us to learn. And what we can ask for is for Jaden every day to be the best possible leader he can be for us. Our culture is very important, as I mentioned, and all we can do is listen to the people that knew him the best, that knew the most amount of information. And when he and I and his family all found out about this lawsuit in September, our university acted as quick as possible.
Okay, we'll open up to questions from the media. If you please raise your hand, we'll bring you over a microphone. Again, please state your name and affiliation. We'll start here with on the far left here with Justin.
Justin Spears from the Arizona Daily Star. Year 3, Jed, you built up the defense in the offseason. How do you feel just about the product going into your 3rd season?
Yeah, I'm really excited about where we are as a program. Offensively, we made a big commitment a year ago. We were coming off being a 1-11 program, really 1-23 over the course of 24 games. And we felt that if we didn't get good on offense, we were never going to be able to recruit defense. No one's going to want to come to a team that couldn't score. And we committed. I think our offensive staff, with Brendan Carroll and Jimmy Doherty leading the way, have done an amazing job of, we've had the same offensive staff for all 3 years I've been there. And they recruited great players and they built great players there. For us, then it was a matter of saying, okay, now that the offense is in a good place, what can we do defensively? And in that case, what we did was we committed to both the portal and playing young. Last year we played, at one point in time, 6 freshmen were starting on defense, true high school freshmen, first-year college players. And we were able to get those guys bigger, stronger, and faster this offseason, complemented with guys like Justin Flo, Daniel Neely, Tyler Manoa, Raiden Terry out of Michigan, Oren Patu, and some of these great players that we were able to bring in. And I think that'll make a huge difference in our defense.
Okay, we'll go right here in the front row, far left.
Kenny Berry, Touchdown Change Network. Coach Fisch, you talked about last year in particular that, when Arizona's a California-based recruiting school, you're getting those guys, despite the transfers that you had, and even from the after effects of COVID, with high school kids kind of being left out on there. How much has that benefited your program, and how has it also hurt it too?
Yeah, well, I would say this about high school recruiting. That's the most important thing for us. We'll sign 28 high school kids every year. That's kind of been what we've done the last 2 years that I've been here. That will be our goal moving forward. best recruiting classes. This one should be better than that. And we're always going to focus in on the high school kids. We're going to use the transfer portal to supplement. We're going to use it if we need a player here or there to fill a hole or fill a gap. But, you know, we've been in this weird world for, it's about a 6-year window from 2019's class up through 2025, where we're going to have to figure out guys that have that year of COVID, the year of redshirting, and how are you going to handle that 6-year window. We've gotten to a point now that we're pretty close to being able to bring in about 25 to 30 new players every year. I think that's what your goal should be as a program. If you're a little bit less, a little bit more, that's great. I don't think I want to be any more than 28 to 30 new players. And hopefully with roster management, it's a big part of coaching in the NFL. And I think it's a good experience that I've had in the past of trying to understand and learn how to bring in, how to supplement your draft with free agency, but not live off of it.
Go to the back, far right.
How you doing, Coach? Anthony Morrow, Jeff Fisch Media. Piggybacking off of what you're talking about, bringing in 28 high school players like that, what specific characteristics are you looking for in these players when you're bringing them in to help contribute to your program?
Yeah, that's a great question about what we look for when we're out on the recruiting trail. It starts with where we go. We go to programs that win games. I want to bring in as many winners into our locker room as possible. If you can see some of the high school programs that we've recruited from recently, they've all been ones that have won state championships, all been ones that have competed at the highest level, that know what it takes to win games, know what it takes to work hard. I want those kids coming into our program. They have to know that we have a standard. Our goal is a 3.0 GPA or higher for our entire football team, all 85 scholarship players. You can't come in here and not expect to be held at a very high standard academically. It really doesn't matter to me what eligibility means. It doesn't matter to me when people talk about, well, if he gets to this, he can get in. No, I want someone that's committed to being a great student. My dad went to Wharton. My mom has a PhD. Academics is very important to me. So our kids understand that if you show up to Arizona, you're going to have a great degree. And then you have to be able to be willing and want to be willing to give to the community. Community service is going to be a big part of it. It's a privilege to play football. 50,000 people watch you play. If it was easy, 11 would watch 50,000 play. So for us, you've got to understand that privilege and you've got to give back.
11 watching 50,000 play, and I think that sounds like an interesting proposition. Coach, you're so thoughtful about the game, and we've had, you talk about all the changes that have happened in the past few years with college football. You've been around the game at a lot of different levels. If you could change one rule, wave a magic wand and change one rule right now, what would it be?
Just one?
I'm only giving you one.
Two.
I'll give you two.
Okay. I want to move the hash marks. I want the hash marks to look like the NFL. That would be number one. And number two is I don't want to throw players off the target. I lived a terrible situation in 2015. The team captain of Michigan, Joe Bolden, starting linebacker, was from East Lansing, Michigan. And we were playing Michigan State, and it was senior day. And the first play of the game, he went to hit a guy, and they called targeting. And he got ejected senior day from the game, and it was, A, it wasn't targeting, but B, at that point in time, it was a hit that was a meaningless hit. And I just think if we could just look to see if there's a way we can find a common ground of not ejecting the player, but penalizing the player unless it's obviously done with malice, that would be a great one.
Next question is from the front here on the far right.
Coach, you mentioned retaining defensive coordinators, and with the fluidity at that position that the program has had, what do you anticipate being the biggest difference in having some stability now at DC?
Yeah, the biggest thing to have stability is that people in your second year is always better than your first year. And where we had such a great challenge is that none of our kids over the course of the last 8 years were able to play in the same system twice. And when you can't do that, you're going to end up being in a situation where you're never going to be as good as you possibly could be. And I think that's proven in college, in pro football, it doesn't matter. I mean, Blaine Gabbert went through 7 offensive coordinators in 7 years in the NFL. And then they wonder why he didn't make it in the league. It's almost impossible. And the same thing goes in the NFL. Again, Blaine just didn't go to the Super Bowl ring, so he might say that the Jets made the league. But the point is that, you know, these guys are great players, and to be able to have some stability in your life and stability in your coaching is going to make a huge difference.
We'll stay here in the back right.
Coach Kevin Turner, Seminole Radio Network. A quick question. Arizona's got some of the greatest golf courses on planet Earth. And last year when I was on the sideline doing the game, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys have got synthetic turf, and it didn't dawn on me until I was down on the sideline. Looks great on TV, but why did you guys convert from Bermuda grass to natural turf?
That's a great question. Well, here's the deal. This is what I was told. We used to have the greatest grass field, I was told, out there. And then in some time in the 2015-14 time, Coach Rodriguez wanted the field to always be recruit ready and always look great. And the grass field's not always going to look great. So we went to the turf. And then we made a decision after the 6 years when the warranty was out on what type of field we were going to have. When you go to a grass field, you limit your amount of opportunities you can use the field. And our university campus doesn't have a ton of grass fields or intramural fields available. And we brought in 2,800 kids in June for camps. And I love people in our building, and I love high school kids, and we do camps for youth, we do camps for children with cancer, we do every camp known to man to be able to open up our building. And if I was on grass, I don't think we'd be able to use it as much and be able to open it to the community as much as we do with this turf.
Coach, the storyline here, of course, is the quarterbacks, but you got to protect the quarterbacks. I think you have the best offensive line in the league in Big Joe on 7 Island. Started as a freshman. Where do you see his ceiling? You've come from the NFL. What do you love about his game? What do you expect in terms of how he's transformed his body and how he'll transform this offense?
Yeah, I don't know if you know our offensive line coach, but it's a guy named Brendan Carroll, and he has done an unbelievable job of bringing in not only talent that maybe not everybody thought was great, but then when they got here, developing that into something special. We have our left tackle, I believe will be a first-round pick, Jordan Morgan. He returned to us for his final year, got his degree, and decided to be a graduate and stay with us. Jonas Evanea, Coach Carroll found really very not recruited player, under-recruited. And he was a freshman All-American last year. I'll never forget this. Chris Firster, the offensive line coach of the 49ers, came to a practice. And he's about a 30-year coordinator and offensive line coach. And he goes, that's an NFL player. And I go, that's a high school senior. And it's the amazing thing about a guy like Big Jonah, and we're moving him out to right tackle this year, is that if he can play as well at guard as he did at tackle, this is a kid that's going to be a 15-year NFL player, and him and Jordan are going to be able to do a heck of a job protecting Jaden. And we sort of like to throw the ball in Tucson, so if we can protect that quarterback, that's going to give us a great chance.
We saw the palpable jump, and this is the last one for you, Coach, and then we'll let you go on with your game. But we saw the jump that you made from year 1 to year 2. What is for you the realistic expectation of what you can expect this program to look like in year 3?
Well, I'll tell you, it's our best team. It's our best team, and we're not going to shy away from that. I don't know what that means in regards to wins.